morning everybody. I am Dr. Nitin Joshi, Professor Neurology with teaching experience of 25 years. Today we will discuss the concept of anion gap. In order to maintain electron neutrality of plasma or urine, normally the sum of positively charged ions, that is cations, is equal to sum of negatively charged ions, that is anions, in plasma or urine. So in plasma or urine, normally sum of positively charged ions, that is sodium plus potassium plus calcium plus magnesium plus gamma globulin, is equal to sum of negatively charged ions, that is chloride plus bicarbonate plus albumin plus urate plus sulfate plus phosphate plus lactate plus acetoacetate plus beta-hydroxybutyric acid. Actually, anion gap is actually the unmeasured ion, that is unmeasured cation or unmeasured anion. However, since unmeasured anions are more than unmeasured cations, hence the terminology unmeasured, that is anion gap. So it is unmeasured ion, unmeasured cation or unmeasured anion. But since normally the unmeasured anion is more than unmeasured cation, hence the terminology anion gap. The commonly measured cations in routine lab are sodium and potassium, while the commonly measured anions in the routine lab are chloride and bicarbonate. Bicarbonate is measured on ABG. The anion gap is given by equation sum of commonly measured cations, that is sodium plus potassium, minus the commonly measured anions, that is chloride plus bicarbonate, and that is equal to 11 to 16 milliequivalents per liter. The acid-base imbalance is associated with three conditions, that is acid-base imbalance with normal anion gap or non-anion gap, which is commonly seen in renal tubular acidosis, where anion gap remains constant and that is normal, that is 11 to 16 milliequivalents per liter. Second, that is the acid-base imbalance with high anion gap, that is anion gap is more than normal, that is more than 11 to 16 milliequivalents per liter. This is seen when the sum value of the chloride plus bicarbonate, that is anions, decreases than the normal. That is, there is accumulation of unmeasured anions in plasma like urate, sulfate, phosphate, lactate, acetoacetate, beta-hydroxybutyric. Third condition is acid-base imbalance with the low anion gap. That is, the anion gap has decreased lesser than normal. It is because of one, that is unmeasured cations have increased, that is increased level of calcium or magnesium in plasma. Second, accumulation or addition of abnormal cations in the plasma. Third, reduction in common anions like chloride or bicarbonate. And fourth, that is hyperviscosity or dyslipidemia. Now we'll see the common clinical conditions. The most common clinical condition is the metabolic acidosis with high anion gap. By definition, metabolic acidosis means decreased bicarbonate level of plasma. So metabolic acidosis with high anion gap, that is some value of chloride plus bicarbonate has decreased. So here bicarbonate has decreased and the sum value of chloride and bicarbonate has also decreased, indicating that with reduction in the bicarbonate level, there is no simultaneous increase in the chloride level. So there is accumulation of the unmeasured anions in plasma like urate, sulfate, phosphate, lactate, acetoacetate, beta-hydroxybutyric acid. So the commonest causes of metabolic acidosis with high anion gap are one, and that is the renal insufficiency, where there is accumulation of uremic toxins like urate, sulfate, phosphate. Second, that is uncontrolled diabetes or severe ketoacidosis because of uncontrolled diabetes, prolonged starvation or alcoholic bout. Third, that is lactic acidosis, where in the glucose metabolism due to anaerobic condition, that is severe hypoxia because of severe hemorrhagic shock, hypovolemic shock, cardiac arrest or the strenuous exercise, conversion of glucose into lactate resulting into accumulation of the lactate in the plasma. Normally in the sulfur containing amino acids like the cysteine and methionine, there is production of strong acid, that is the sulfuric acid. In case of metabolism of phospholipid, there is production of strong acid, and that is phosphoric acid. By definition, acid is a moiety which donates H plus ion and gets converted into corresponding anion. By definition, strong acid is the acid which comparatively donates higher amount of H plus ion in solution and gets converted into corresponding anion. Now when the strong acid like the phosphoric acid or the sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid are produced, then the sulfuric acid donates H plus ion and gets converted into sulfate. Phosphoric acid donates H plus ion, gets converted into its anion, that is phosphate. While the weak acid uric acid gets converted into the anion urate by donating H plus ion. Now these H plus ions which are released in plasma, the most important buffer in our body is bicarbonate buffer, and buffer comes in action within a fraction of a second so as to prevent the drastic change in the pH of the blood. So the most powerful buffer, that is bicarbonate buffer, comes in action so as to neutralize or titrate the released H plus ion. So sudden drastic change in the pH is prevented, but in this the bicarbonate level falls on ABG. In renal insufficiency, what happens that there is decreased glomerular filtration, and hence there will be decreased filtration of the anions like urate, sulfate, phosphate, causing accumulation of the urate, sulfate, phosphate in plasma. In the renal insufficiency, now since there is decreased renal function, so the acid-base balance is affected. The H plus ions have been neutralized by bicarbonate. This results into decreased bicarbonate level, but there is no simultaneous addition of chloride in plasma, but there is accumulation of the non-chloride anions in plasma, that is sulfate, phosphate, urate. As a result, the sum value of chloride and bicarbonate falls, and so in renal insufficiency there is fall in bicarbonate, that is metabolic acidosis, with fall in chloride and bicarbonate sum, and so there is high anion gap metabolic acidosis. In case of ketoacidosis, because of the severe uncontrolled diabetes, starvation ketoacidosis or alcoholic bouts, there is production of ketone bodies, acetone, acetoacetic acid, beta hydroxybutyric acid. These acids donate H plus ion and get converted into corresponding anion. H plus ion which is released in the blood, in order to prevent the drastic change in pH, the buffer bicarbonate comes in action immediately so that the drastic change in the pH is prevented, but in this bicarbonate buffer is utilized, resulting into fall of bicarbonate level on ABG. Also, there is no simultaneous addition of chloride ion, but here there is addition of the non-chloride anion like acetoacetate and butyrate. As a result, the sum value of chloride and the bicarbonate falls, resulting into metabolic acidosis, which is high anion gap metabolic acidosis. While in case of lactic acidosis, same which happens in case of the severe hemorrhagic shock, hypovolemic shock, cardiac arrest, where there is increased lactic acid production which donates H plus ion, gets converted into lactate, and H plus is buffered by bicarbonate, resulting into reduction in the bicarbonate level on ABG. but there is no simultaneous addition of chloride ion, but there is addition of lactate anion, and so again this is the high anion gap metabolic acidosis. Now second, that is the non-anion gap metabolic acidosis. Metabolic acidosis, by definition, there is decreased bicarbonate level in plasma, and non-anion gap means the sum value of chloride and bicarbonate remains unchanged. That is, there is reduction in bicarbonate level, but still the sum value of chloride and bicarbonate has remained unchanged, which means that the simultaneous increase in the chloride ion. So this acidosis will be hyperchloremic metabolic acidosis. It is seen in 1. The use of intestine in urinary tract, that is in case of ureterosigmoidostomy, then ileal conduit, jejunal conduit, colonic conduit, use of intestine for various pouches, then use of intestine for augmentation cystoplasty. Normally urine contains the salt ammonium chloride. Here the urine is exposed to the absorptive surface of intestine like jejunum, ileum, colon. So from the absorptive mucosa, the salt ammonium chloride is absorbed from the urine into general circulation. This salt ammonium chloride in general circulation dissociates into ammonia and H+ ion and chloride. In short, there is addition or excessive absorption of ammonia, H+ ion and chloride. Increased absorption of the chloride in a general circulation means hyperchloremic condition. In order to maintain electron neutrality, the equal volumes of the bicarbonate ion are secreted from the plasma into the lumen of intestine. So, though there is increase in the chloride, the bicarbonate are equally lost from the plasma, and so the sum value of the chloride and bicarbonate remains constant, and so it is normal anion gap condition. Here there is addition of H+ ion in plasma, and simultaneously there is loss of bicarbonate from plasma in the urine in the intestine. So overall effect, there is metabolic acidosis, and so this is hyperchloremic non-anion gap metabolic acidosis. Next condition in normal anion gap metabolic acidosis is renal tubular acidosis. Renal tubular acidosis is tubular insufficiency without glomerular insufficiency. This is classically associated with dehydration with hyperchloremic metabolic acidosis with alkaline urine. In alkaline urine, in this condition where there is metabolic acidosis, appears to be paradoxical. This is because whenever there is metabolic acidosis, kidney tries to maintain acid-base balance by excreting more acidic urine. However, here pathology behind the metabolic acidosis in renal tubular acidosis is excretion of alkaline urine. So there is tubular insufficiency, that is, tubules have failed to acidify the urine properly. Depending upon the site of defect, the renal tubular acidosis is classified mainly in two types, and that is proximal renal tubular acidosis, and second, that is distal renal tubular acidosis. The tubules normally maintain the acid-base balance by three mechanisms, and that is one, that is secretion of H+ ion from the renal tubular cells in the tubular lumen. Second, that is reabsorption of filtered bicarbonate ions, and third, that is regeneration of new bicarbonate ion. In case of the proximal RTA, the distal nephron will be functioning, and in case of the distal RTA, proximal nephron will be functioning. Whatever is the type, the common thing will be the dehydration and metabolic acidosis. So in proximal RTA, the compensation for dehydration will take place in the distal nephron, while in distal RTA, the compensation for dehydration will take place in the proximal nephron. In proximal type of RTA, there is a defect in the proximal nephron. The proximal nephron is normally responsible for reabsorption of about 85 to 95% of filtered bicarbonate and secretion of huge volumes of H plus ion from the peritubular capillaries into the tubular lumen. Since the tubules are defective, there is defect in the reabsorption of bicarbonate. This results into loss of bicarbonate in urine, causing alkaline urine. Along with bicarbonate, there is loss of water, causing dehydration. Since there is no secretion of H plus ion, so there is retention of H plus ion in the plasma with loss of bicarbonate in the urine. Overall effect, metabolic acidosis. Here, distal nephron is functioning well, and so it tries to compensate. Because of dehydration, the stimulation of renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. Aldosterone acts on the distal nephron, and so sodium will be absorbed with the chloride, with the water, and thus, though there is loss of bicarbonate, chloride is absorbed so as to maintain electroneutrality. As a result, the sum value of chloride plus bicarbonate remains constant, so it is non-anion gap. But since there is retention of H plus ion in the plasma and loss of bicarbonate in urine, there is metabolic acidosis. So it is non-anion gap hyperchloremic metabolic acidosis. In case of distal nephron, the distal nephron type of RTA, the distal nephron is defective, and the distal nephron is responsible for reabsorption of remaining bicarbonate and regeneration of bicarbonate, which is coupled with the secretion of H plus ion in the tubular lumen. Since the distal nephron is defective, there is loss of bicarbonate in the tubular fluid. As a result, there is alkaline urine. Along with bicarbonate loss, there will be water loss, causing dehydration, and there is no regeneration of the bicarbonate. And this regeneration of new bicarbonate is very crucial. This is because the only filtered reabsorption of the bicarbonate is not sufficient to maintain acid-base balance. This is because daily 60 to 100 milliequivalents of excess acids are produced over alkali, and so as to maintain this normal balance of bicarbonate, regeneration of new bicarbonate in the distal nephron is very crucial. And when it is defective, the H plus ions which are retained in the plasma, they are titrated by the bicarbonate which are present in the plasma. As a result, bicarbonate in the plasma starts falling, and the glomerular filtrate is ultimately the ultrafiltrate of plasma, and so the glomerular filtrate contains less bicarbonate in the proximal part of the nephron, and the bicarbonate is the most important buffer in the proximal nephron. Now the proximal nephron will be compensating for the dehydration, stimulation of renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, where angiotensin II is responsible for normally absorption of sodium in the proximal nephron along with the bicarbonate. But since there is exhaustion of bicarbonate, this will result into compensation by the chloride, resulting into excess chloride absorption. So though there is loss of bicarbonate or fall in the bicarbonate of the plasma, chloride level increases, so some value of chloride and bicarbonate remains constant. Since there is retention of H plus ion and no regeneration of bicarbonate, there is metabolic acidosis, and so this is hyperchloremic non-anion metabolic acidosis. Now the next condition where there is non-anion metabolic acidosis is the mineralocorticoid deficiency. The strongest mineralocorticoid is aldosterone, which acts on the distal nephron, particularly the principal cells. The aldosterone is responsible for the absorption of sodium in exchange of cations, that is, sodium is reabsorbed in exchange of hydrogen or potassium. Due to deficiency, the absorption of sodium is defective, resulting into there will be dehydration. Also, there is no secretion of potassium, so hyperkalemia. No secretion of H plus ion, resulting into metabolic acidosis. Since there is dehydration, there will be compensation from the various segments of the nephron where sodium will get reabsorbed. But since the retained H plus ion is titrated by bicarbonate, the sodium cannot be absorbed by the bicarbonate ion because of its limited stock. As a result, sodium will be reabsorbed along with chloride, resulting into the hyperchloremia. So the sum value of chloride and bicarbonate remains constant, and so the mineralocorticoid deficiency is also the cause of non-anion gap hyperchloremic metabolic acidosis. Here we have finished the concept of anion gap. In next class we will see metabolic acidosis. Thank you very much.